Just beyond the castle town, in the deep depths of the dark woods, lies a house made of poisonous mushrooms, isolated from the rest of the world. A witch named Luna lives there, appearing as a young girl. Though she may look youthful, she is actually older than most humans. She took residence in her current home when she was much younger and soon discovered she had a talent for creating medicines. Today, she is preparing a new batch of medicine. The process calms her, and she is able to earn an income by selling her creations to nearby towns. She transforms Minos into an ox so he can help her carry her medicine to town. Minos insists that he can carry Luna as well, but she refuses, not wanting to burden him further. They begin heading down the path to town, a route they travel once every 3 months to sell their goods. As they walk, Luna and Minos make small talk, and Minos tries to convince her to buy him a red vest. Luna tells him that she already made one for him, but Minos complains that the fabric makes him itch all over. He says he would prefer one made of velvet wool instead of merino wool, as he wants a nicer material against his skin. As they get closer to town, Luna leaves behind a cluster of mushrooms growing from each of her steps. When they enter the town, people eye her warily, noticing that poisonous mushrooms are sprouting wherever her feet touch. This isn't the first time it has happened, which is why she is nicknamed the Champion Witch. Minos and Luna continue chatting as they walk through the town. Along the way, they overhear cruel rumors about Luna, with many people claiming that she and her mushrooms are bad luck, and parents chiding their children not to approach her. Minos spots the vest shop and brightens up, but the owner quickly shuts the door. Luna places a comforting hand on his neck and tells him that she can alter the vest she made into something softer. A butterfly flies past them and soon falls dead to the ground. The children who witness this convince themselves that Luna is a bringer of death. The comments begin to affect her, so she transforms her hood into a hat to hide her expression. The town has always been hostile, which makes Luna feel a little sad. However, she has come to terms with how her body works and accepts it. She enters the apothecary, where Gillett warmly welcomes her, telling her how well her medicine sold and that he would like larger batches next time since they run out of stock fast. He puts on his herb-infused mask as he handles the medicine and hands Luna her pay. Though he is friendly toward her, he is still wary of the mushrooms she sprouts. He even asks her to pick the mushrooms growing by his door. Luna decides it is fine because at least she is able to do transactions with him. Next, Luna stops by the bookshop, where the owner greets her warmly. He is a descendant of both the human and spirit worlds, so he is kinder to Luna compared to the rest of the town. Luna can see his spirit form and unconsciously causes a rose to bloom due to her fondness for him. The bookkeeper notices this and cheekily tells her not to check out his spirit form, which leaves Luna feeling embarrassed and causes the flower to wilt. The bookkeeper then tells her how grateful he is whenever she visits. The air in the town has become overbearing, but whenever Luna passes through, her body absorbs the pollution and negativity, filtering it by producing mushrooms. Her walking through town makes the air bearable for him. Luna mentions that she sprouted a large number of mushrooms in the town square, which is odd. The bookkeeper explains that there was a public execution there last week, and the area has been filled with negativity since then. The bookkeeper withholds the fact that the execution was part of a witch hunt, and that the victim was possibly someone Luna knew and was innocent. The kingdom they live in is small but prosperous due to the work of magic users. The kingdom celebrates its white witches and wizards, a term used for those who possess magic and swear loyalty to the crown. Meanwhile, those who refuse to pledge loyalty are labeled black witches and wizards, and the kingdom actively hunts them down. The bookkeeper then tells Luna that he has picked out some new books for her to check out. Luna immediately brightens as she looks over the selection. Life as a witch has been difficult for her, especially since many people are hostile, but because she can survive by selling her medicine and using the earnings to buy her beloved books, she has not given up on living. She accidentally sprouts mushrooms on the money, which the bookkeeper understands, knowing that money often carries a great deal of negative energy. As she packs away the books she purchased by feeding them to her bad, the bookkeeper mentions that he has a book that appears to be cursed. He says that since getting it, he hasn't been able to lift it. Luna immediately notices it due to the ominous energy it emits. When she opens it, a strange mushroom monster sprouts out and lunges toward them. Luna transforms it into a smaller, edible mushroom and swallows it, much to the bookkeeper's surprise. She brings the book to him and tells him that it is safe now, though the curse had already taken the lives of 150 people based on how it tastes. The bookkeeper is grateful to her, but as Luna prepares to leave, he begins burning herbal incense and even puts crystals on his clothes, as if he is still wary of her. Before she goes, he gives her the cursed book as a token of thanks. After walking some distance away, Luna knows the bookkeeper has begun wiping down everything she touched with lye. She decides that it is fine as he does it respectfully after she leaves, and he has always welcomed her and allowed her to buy books. On her way home, she passes by the apothecary where a crowd is gathered. The townsfolk rush to buy her medicine, grateful that it is back in stock. They do not know that the medicine actually comes from her. Hearing their excitement over the medicine, Luna feels that the trip was worthwhile as she gets to hear people praising her work. Roses bloom on her hat. She knows that if people discovered the medicine came from her, they would stop buying it, so she keeps her involvement a secret as Minos leans on her. This way, she feels she can continue doing what she loves. Suddenly, she notices a man with a missing leg glance toward the apothecary before turning away and moving forward. When she returns to the shop, Luna offers Gillett a medicine that can regrow the lost leg. Gillett is hesitant to sell such a cure, fearing it would draw suspicion and cause people to think he is a wizard or suspect a relationship with her. Gillett reminds her to be careful, as she is considered a black witch. Still, Luna attempts to slip the special medicine to him by making the bag grow legs and run toward Gillett, but he pushes the magical bag away. She leaves the apothecary and Minos offers her words of comfort, knowing how hard Luna worked to create that medicine. Minos notices Luna scanning the area for the man and wonders if he would willingly accept her help or treat her like the rest of the town does. Luna's gaze then drifts to a couple, curious about their actions. Romance has always been out of the question for her, as she cannot touch another human. Once when men tried to touch her skin, their hands began to rot, and they even stopped breathing. After the town discovered this, it began actively avoiding her, fearing for their lives even if she never made a move to touch them. The girl notices Luna staring and complains to her lover Henry. Henry reassures her that Luna is simply amazed by her beauty and also cannot look at her. His statement instantly lifts his girlfriend's mood. Luna begins her journey back to the bookstore, aware that she is blessed with many abilities that ordinary humans do not possess. However, witches are also unable to experience certain things reserved for humans, such as romance. Minos asks the bookkeeper if he knows anything about the middle-aged, one-legged man. The bookkeeper replies that many people were left like that after the war, but promises to ask around about his whereabouts. The bookkeeper then asks Minos why Luna seems to be sulking. Minos explains that she had seen a couple earlier. This makes the bookkeeper realize she is curious, and he offers her some romance novels. By the end of the day, Minos and Luna return home, eagerly greeted by Moreno and Sizi. Both creatures excitedly await souvenirs, only to be disappointed when Minos explains that Luna bought only books, as the other shops refuse to entertain them. Her companions insist that it's fine since they enjoy the images in the books anyway. Once things settle down, Luna wastes no time and begins reading one of the fantasy novels the bookkeeper recommended. Using her magic, images rise from the pages, acting out the scenes being described. She even learns from the books the same way she enjoys them for entertainment. Her three creature companions notice this and hurry over to watch her read. She casts a spell to make a cat grow. In her heart, Luna feels comforted knowing she can enjoy her books while being surrounded by her companions. She reassures herself that she is not lonely, even without any human companions. She continues reading at home until Minos points out that she has not touched the romance novel. Though hesitant, Luna decides to give the new genre a try. Using her magic, the images of the characters lift from the pages so her companions can enjoy the story as well. Something strange occurs, and Luna suddenly decides to draw Henry from earlier. Looking at her sketch, she notes that Henry is far more handsome than the illustrations in the romance novel. Luna has always loved beautiful things, but she fears her poison could destroy them. To preserve beauty in a way that feels safe to her, she began drawing. Her illustrations are detailed and accurate, honed by years of practice in capturing beauty. Suddenly, the image of Henry comes to life, something that occasionally happens when she pours a little magic into her work. The copy of Henry mouths something which Moreno translates as an invitation to dance. Moments later, the images in Henry fly out the window and Luna follows after Moreno transforms into a flying lamb. Luna hesitantly takes the image's hand. Though it isn't real, it marks the first time she has ever held a human hand. As she grows more comfortable with the sensation, she and the image begin dancing under the moonlight. She allows herself to enjoy the moment, but a sudden gust of wind causes the paper to fly away. Without thinking, she reaches for it and ends up falling. She quickly causes a mushroom to grow large enough to cushion her landing. Moreno rushes to her side and notices that Henry has returned to being nothing more than a drawing. Eventually, Luna needs to make another trip to town to buy paper. Minos accompanies her, voicing his concern about whether anyone would be willing to sell her supplies. As they walk through town, Luna and Minos spot the couple from earlier. They notice that they look unhappy, and Henry in particular seems lifeless. The girl storms off to join the other girls, speaking poorly about Henry. She even convinces herself that Luna is the cause of her bad luck. Luna overhears this and decides to help Henry by casting a spell that causes his appearance to brighten. The girls suddenly notice him and begin fawning over him. Henry sees Luna and calls out to her, but she runs away. Minos is confused as to why Luna flees, as this was her chance to speak to someone. As she runs, Luna vows never to draw again. The girls demand to know why he was calling out to Luna. Henry admits that he doesn't know. He even forgot that Luna was a black witch, because to him she simply looked like a normal pretty girl. The girls resume speaking badly about Luna as Henry quietly considers speaking to her the next time they meet. One day, Henry approaches Luna and asks for her name. Luna is shocked as no one has ever approached her before. Minos recognizes him as the boy from Luna's drawings. Henry introduces himself and reveals that he already knows her name. The townspeople are surprised that Henry is bold enough to flirt with a witch, even given his reputation as a womanizer. This is still odd for him. Unable to process what is happening, Luna makes her hat grow until it completely engulfs her, allowing her to fly away with the wind, accidentally leaving Minos behind. Minos complains and tries to catch up but fails, so he ends up staying with Henry until Luna eventually returns by sprouting a giant mushroom to climb out of. Upon seeing her return, Minos rushes back to her, grumbling about being abandoned as Henry attempts to approach her again. Luna nervously apologizes for running away so suddenly, then quietly adds that she is sorry for many other things as well. Henry realizes that she is referring to the dance they shared in the moonlit sky, something he had assumed was just his imagination. However, he is happy that it was actually real. Luna is stunned that he remembers what happened in her drawing. As Henry reaches out to touch her hand, she panics, remembering that contact could cause his body to rot. She quickly summons a giant mushroom between them and hides behind it. She tells him the truth, revealing that it was not his real body on the night they danced, and that it is dangerous to touch her because her body is filled with poison and he could get harmed. She apologizes again for drawing his portrait without his permission. Instead of reacting with disgust, Henry admits he is flattered she drew him and responds with wonder and awe, amazed that the rumors about her growing mushrooms are true. He admits that he finds both Luna and her mushrooms cute, not frightening like the rumors suggest. He even takes the hands of the magical mushroom she created. Embarrassed, Luna's hat begins to bloom with flowers. After she calms down, the surrounding crowd watches them oddly as Henry continues to flirt with her by the fountain. What makes it even more weird is the giant mushroom between them. The townspeople worry that Henry's friendliness may get him into trouble, especially since his family is known to be white witch fundamentalists who hate people against the crown. They acknowledge that Henry is not like most of his relatives and is generally kind to everyone, but being involved with a black witch is something his family would never overlook, so his interaction with Luna may cause him a lot of trouble in the future. While the townsfolk believe Henry would likely survive the fallout with his family, they fear Luna could become a victim of a witch hunt. Despite their wariness of her, none of them is particularly fond of public executions. Meanwhile, Claude perches on a tree, observing Luna as she interacts with Henry. With the giant mushrooms still between them, Henry shares that he believes his soul passed through the drawing just to see her. He explains that he possesses a small amount of magic since his family has a lot of witches, but nothing extraordinary enough to be considered a witch or wizard, so it is possible that his magic played a part in what happened. According to Henry, the relatives who became white witches are cruel and constantly look down on him. Because of that, seeing how kind and gentle Luna is feels strange to him since anyone awarded would gain that personality. He tells her that being around her feels comforting and purifying, as if Luna is absorbing all the rot and decay, and even the negativity in his soul, making the air feel fresher. He wonders aloud if this is how her magic works. Tears well in Luna's eyes as this is the first time a human has ever complimented her presence. Before she can respond, guards suddenly spot her, forcing her to use her hat to hide herself, Minos, and the animated mushrooms. The guards immediately question Henry, as if they do not see the giant hat next to him. Suddenly, Claude, who is now transformed into a crow, swoops down and snatches the hat away. Henry panics and tries to catch it, desperate for another chance to see Luna. Unable to chase them, he shouts that Luna should draw another picture of him if she ever wants to see him again. Luna hears his promise to appear if she does, but she does not respond to his plea. She wakes up soon after and finds herself inside the bookkeeper's home, where Claude immediately begins scolding her for being reckless and for speaking to someone under the protection of the White Witches. The bookkeeper, on the other hand, is pleased that Luna seems interested in romance and even congratulates her, crediting his books towards the recent development. Despite Claude's cold reactions, the bookkeeper remarks that Claude is simply jealous. Luna looks over at Claude. She has known him for a long time. He is a crow familiar to a respected black wizard and has always been fiercely protective of her, despite his harsh words. This makes him complicated to understand, but they have come to care for each other over the years. Claude sternly warns Luna to never speak to Henry again, threatening to report the incident to his master if she does. He reminds her that if anything were to happen, it would not only affect Luna, but would also endanger all the other black witches and wizards as well. The witch hunt is getting fiercer, so they do not want things to escalate. Luna finds herself agreeing. A strange mushroom begins to sprout. When she returns home, her creatures are happily drawing as she reads. Moreno asks if she saw anything nice in town and insists that she draw it. Her hands suddenly feel possessed as she reaches for the charcoal and begins sketching. Her mind drifts to Henry and the kind words he had spoken. She begins to cry at the memory and briefly stops drawing before forcing herself to continue. She did not truly intend to meet him again. She only wanted to draw his face to remember his kindness. She convinces herself she is fine even if they never meet again. However, the moment she finishes, his soul emerges from the drawing once more, and the two share a quiet embrace. After the hug, Henry tries to speak but realizes that no sound comes out. He instead decides to write down what he wants to say by writing it in thin air. In his message, he thanks her for drawing him again because he truly wanted to see her, then lightly teases her by saying that the drawing is a little messy this time. Luna grows solemn and admits that she never intended to see him again. She only wanted to draw him so she would remember him. She worries that being close to her will only bring him trouble. She reveals that she intentionally made the drawing imperfect so he would not appear this time. As she speaks, roses begin to bloom on her hat. They hold each other closely as Luna tearfully confesses that she is genuinely happy to see him, and that she feels guilty for feeling such joy. The mushroom in her heart has fully bloomed, its thorns now gone. Henry writes that she should not cry. He cups her face and holds her hand, frustrated that he cannot wipe away her tears in his current form. He mentions that the other times they met, she was crying as well, making him worry that he might have done something to upset her. Luna gently corrects him, explaining that her tears are ones of joy because no one has ever held her with such kindness. But despite not knowing her, Henry easily made the effort to see her. Still, her tears are mixed with fear. She is afraid that the happiness she feels now will disappear. She admits that she does not want to crave this joy because it is fleeting, and if it comes at the expense of someone else, she'd rather not have it. She adds that she fears that it may one day take away Henry's happiness. Henry looks at Luna kindly, assuring her that everything will be fine and that she will find more joy in her life. He suggests that they search together for different things that make her happy, eventually discovering a happiness that will not fade. He also admits that this is his way of wanting to spend time with her, and that he is willing to do anything for Luna. To prove that he is serious, Henry confesses that he wants to be with her forever. He asks her to keep drawing him, admitting that his greatest fear is losing her. A few days pass, and true to her promise, Luna continues drawing him, and his spirit always comes through. They spend several days together, enjoying the simple life one gets to live in the forest. Aside from Henry and Luna getting along, Henry becomes close friends with her creatures, each of them vying for his time. With each passing day, the mushroom in Luna's heart grows more beautiful and radiant, an indication of their growing affection. Under the moonlight, just like their first evening together, they dance. Aware of how deeply they love each other, they lean in and share their first kiss. One day, while Claude is flying over the town, he overhears gossip among the people. Henry has apparently fallen ill and has been bedridden for several days. His lethargy began shortly after his interactions with Luna, leading his family to suspect that she may be responsible for his condition. Claude scoffs at the rumor and flies off. Meanwhile, back at Luna's home, her creature companions ask if she will be drawing Henry again, as they want to play with him. Luna tells them that she plans to take a break from drawing Henry. Claude overhears the conversation and immediately scolds Luna and her companions for interacting with Henry. He then tells her to look at the extent of the damage she has caused. Under the moonlight, Luna manages to insert her soul into a drawing Henry has of her. In her mushroom form, she peers over his bed and sees how thin and frail he has become. She returns to her own body, and Claude explains that Henry is still human and cannot withstand casting active spells for long periods of time. Claude reprimands her for failing to consider the consequences, calling her selfish and not truly thinking about Henry. He warns her that all she's done is prove what the humans and white witches say about them, that black witches are cruel and good at seduction. Later that night, two of Luna's animated mushrooms make their way to Henry. He is awake, and so they gently caress his hands, bringing him comfort and happiness before he drifts off to sleep. As his eyes flutter closed, Luna appears in a similar spectral form. She slowly moves to his bedside and uses her magic to draw a mushroom out of his body. The mushroom is the poison drawn from his body, but it also carries Henry's affection and memories of Luna. She holds it close, noting how delicate and beautiful it is compared to any mushroom she has ever produced. Luna begins to cry silently over its beauty, realizing how deeply Henry had come to love her. She recalls their gentle moments together and his promise to help her find an unending happiness. Slowly, she allows the mushroom to fade away, thanking Henry for everything he had given her. After a few days, Henry is healthy enough to walk around town again. His friends are relieved that he has managed to recover. They ask whether his illness had anything to do with Luna. At the mention of her title, Henry only looks confused, unable to recall ever speaking with her. Luna overhears the conversation as she passes by, prompting Minos to gently pull her away in concern. She offers him a small smile and assures him that she is fine, while Claude watches her from afar. As the days pass, the kingdom begins intensifying its witch hunts. Because of this, Luna makes fewer visits to the castle town. While resting by the river one day, Marino suddenly notices blood staining the water. Investigating further, she sees something and calls Luna and the others over. Just past the rock, they see the body of a young boy who has been stabbed. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe so you won't miss new episode every week.